Hi guys, today we're going to learn about the constant of proportionality. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. So let's get started. So first things first, we need a definition. So this definition is also going to sound tricky, but I promise once we get into the examples, you're going to feel much better about this. So the definition says the constant of proportionality is the constant value of the ratio of two proportional quantities x and y. It is written as k equals y over x. K is the constant of proportionality. So k equals y over x. This is just a visual here, an image that shows if you were to make a table and you had x values and y values, that the y value is going to go on top and the x value is going to go on the bottom, which they have listed here. And then you reduce and you get the constant of proportionality, which is 12. Again, once we get into our own examples, this is going to make a lot more sense. The definition continued. So what this simply means is that all proportions have the same unit rate, how much one of something is. And remember, we've been working with unit rate. Unit rate is simply like what I just said. It's just how much one is. So let's get into this example where this is going to make a little bit more sense for us. So the example says, Jaden went to the store to buy apples. He saw a sign that said he could buy 2 apples for $2, 4 apples for $8, 6 apples for $12. What is the constant of proportionality? So let's see how we would figure this out. So on this page here, I brought over the important information, which is that 2 apples cost $4, 4 apples cost $8, and 6 apples cost $12. So here are the 4 steps that we're going to do in order to solve this problem. So step 1 is we're going to make a table. So step 1, make a table. We have our x values and our y values. So our x values are going to be the apples, the number of apples, and the y value is going to be the dollars. Step 2 says to fill in the values. So I'm going to use exactly what they gave us here, and I'm going to put them into the table. So we have 2 apples, $4, 4 apples, $8, and 6 apples, $12. So far, so good. So our step 3 is that we're going to plug the values into the equation. So our equation is k equals y over x, what we talked about. And in this case, y is dollars and x is apples. So what this is actually going to look like is k equals dollars over apples. So our step 4 is going to be, once we plug it all in, is we are going to reduce the fraction. So let's get started. Here we go. So this is going to be my first one, my second one, and my third one. So let's start here. When you get to your assignment, you're going to double click these boxes. For this example, I'm just going to write on the boxes. So we said dollars over apples. So I'm looking here at the first one, and I see that we have $4 for 2 apples. And so now I'm going to, what this fraction 4 over 2 really means is 4 divided by 2. So I'm going to take my calculator, and I know some of you can probably just do mental math here, but just to be sure, I'm going to take 4 and I'm going to divide by 2, and I get 2. That is my answer. The next one I'm going to look is right here, and I'm going to remember I'm going to put dollars first. So I'm going to put 8 over 4 for apples, and I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to do 8 divided by 4, and look at that, I get 2 again. Final one, I'm going to put y first, and my y here is 12, so $12. And I'm going to put my x value, which is apples, and I get 6. And in my calculator, I'm putting 12 divided by 6, and I get 2. So the answer, the constant of proportionality here, is 2. That's it, guys. So let's try another one. All right. There is a proportional relationship between the amount of time in minutes Charlotte spends folding X and the number of bedsheets she folds Y. What is the constant of proportionality? Write your answer as a whole number or decimal. This is an example of a question that you would get on a test. So they already give us the table for us, and that's already done, which is great. So here are 4 steps that we're going to be following. Step 1 and step 2 are already done for us because the table was already made and the values are already filled in, so that's great. We're now on step 3 where we're going to plug the values into the equation. Our equation is K, and K stands for the constant of proportionality. K equals Y over X. So step 4, we're going to plug it in and we're going to reduce the fraction. So here we go. I'm going to start here. I'm going to start on the first one and I'm going to put my Y first, and my Y is 2 and my X is 1. So on my calculator, I'm going to take 2 and I'm going to divide it by 1 and I get 2. Next one, I'm going to do the Y first, and I'm going to do 4, and the X is 2, and I'm going to do 4 divided by 2, and I get 2 again. The third one, our Y here is 6, and our X here is 3, and in the calculator, I'm going to put 6 divided by 3, and I get 2. This final one, I'm going to put the Y first, which is 8, and then I'm going to put the X, which is 4, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. Look at that, 2's again. So the answer is not always going to be 2, it just happened to work out that way. The constant of proportionality for this question is also 2. So far, so good, right, guys? All right, let's keep going. Let's try another. All right, so this one says, Samantha and her friends set out to sea on their annual fishing trip. There is a proportional relationship between the time in hours Samantha and her friends spend sailing, which is X, and their distance from shore in miles, which is Y. What is the constant of proportionality? Write your answer as a whole number or a decimal. So let's do this together. So again, we're going to start here. We're going to look at our steps. And step 1 and step 2, again, are already done for us. The table's already made and the values are already filled in. Step 3 is we're going to plug in the values to the equation. So our equation is K equals Y over X, which is right here. And it's listed here with step 4 where we're going to fill them in and then we're ultimately going to reduce the fraction. So we're going to start with our first line here. And our Y is 30, so I'm going to put 30 in the top. And our X is 3, so I'm going to put 3 in the bottom. And in my calculator, because 30 over 3 really just means 30 divided by 3, in the calculator, I'm going to put in 30, and I'm going to divide by 3, and we get 10. Next one, I'm going to do the Y first, which is 40, and then the X, which is 4, and I'm going to divide 40 divided by 4, which is 10. The next one is 70. 70 is our Y, and 7 is our X. And 70 divided by 7 is 10. Now here's the thing. You might be saying, Miss Ramos, so far I'm noticing that once we come up with K, it's going to always be the same, right? All the way down. Well, it could be, but the thing is what if one of them doesn't match? What if we have 10, 10, 10, and maybe the next one is 5? That would mean that this proportion, that these are not proportionate, that there is no constant, because constant means that it's going to keep happening. And if it doesn't keep happening, then that means that there's no constant or proportionality. So we got to keep going to make sure that this works. So we put the 80 is our y, and we put our x is 8, and 80 divided by 8 is 10. So in this case, they're all 10 down the line. So it does work. Our constant of proportionality is 10. We are going to do one last example together. It says Darnell wants to save up some money to buy a new smartphone, so he babysits on the weekends. This table shows the relationship between the time Darnell spends babysitting in hours, which is X, and the amount of money he earns babysitting in dollars, which is Y. According to the values in the table, do X and Y have a proportional relationship? So this is kind of what I was talking about, in the sense that we have to go through and we have to make sure, is this a proportional relationship? So let's check it out. Okay, here's our steps up top here. Step 1 and step 2 are already done for us. The table is already made and the values are already filled in. Step 3, we have to plug our values into the equation, and our equation we know is K equals Y over X. So we're going to start with our first line, and remember this side is our Y, so I'm going to start with 34 over 2. Now I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to type in 34 divided by 2, and I get 17. Now we're going to go to the next one, and I'm going to put the 51 first because that's our Y, and I'm going to put the 3 second and the X, and I'm going to type in my calculator 51 divided by 3, and I get 17. So far, so good. The 17s match, which means that so far this is a proportional relationship. Now, if I go through here and I get a number that does not match these 17s, I can stop, because I automatically know now that it is not proportionate. So we're going to keep going. We're going to figure this out. So line 3, my Y is 68 and my X is 4. And in the calculator, we're going to type in 68 divided by 4, and we get 17. Last one, we have our Y is 85, and our X is 5, and 85 divided by 5 is 17. So are they proportionate? The answer is yes, they are, because all the answers are the same. They all have the same constant of proportionality. They're all 17. So your task today is you're going to complete the Google slide assignment. The assignment you're going to be able to find on Google Classroom, and what you're going to do is you're going to do the same exact thing that we did here. You're going to have an example given to you, one that looks very similar to this, and then your job is that you're going to get this exact page. You're going to get the steps. You're going to get steps 1 and 2 already done for you, and your job is to just plug in the values and to figure out if they are proportionate or not. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I hope that you guys have a great weekend. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.